Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. It's allergy season, so I may be croaking out some of these things for a while. It happens every year. I guess you're used to it by now. I sure as hell am, unfortunately. Well, today we are continuing with our survey of the Andris Nelson Shostakovich box as the individual concerto and other releases pop up. Now, we've already taken care of, what was this? The violin concertos, right? And who was playing the violin concertos? I don't even remember this stuff, frankly, because it just was so uninteresting. Yes, Baiba Skrida was a wonderful violinist, but boy, did she blow the violin concertos. Those weren't terribly interesting. And now we have the cello concertos with Yo-Yo Ma. Here we go. Now, you know, there is a Shostakovich Cello Concerto joke involving Yo-Yo Ma, in which a cellist goes to a major symphony orchestra and sits down and starts to play the Shostakovich Cello Concertos, but instead of playing, he sings, "I'm Yo-Yo Ma," and the woodwinds reply, "No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm Yo-Yo Ma. No, you're not. No, you're not." Well, that's the opening of the Shostakovich Cello Concerto, and unfortunately, the no you're nots have it, even though this really is Yo-Yo Ma. As you know, he's recorded the first cello concerto before, a long time ago, billions of years ago, for Sony. It was with Eugene Ormandy, I think, was conducting. It was a very good performance. It really was. Ma is now 69, pushing 70, and quite frankly, he's sounding a little geriatric here. He really is. The very opening of this cello concerto is difficult. It's a challenge. Look, here it is. There it is. See this? I'm going to show it to you. I don't know if you can see it because it's like really tiny. See the cello part there? Let me see if it's, yes, there it is. See the cello part? And if you can look, under each note just about is a dot with a line underneath. That is one of the many indications for portato bowing. Well, what is portato? Well, portato is a slurred staccato, basically, although the slurs aren't here, I don't think, right? He doesn't do the slur thing. So it's a little bit more, it's a little bit more detached, probably. But, you know, it's a contradictory indication because the line is a tenuto, which means hold, and the dot is a staccato, which means cut it short. The idea is that it's a tunelet where each note should have a slight accent and be slightly detached, but not totally detached. Well, maybe it's age, I don't know, but this is totally detached. This Yo-Yo Ma doesn't do it. This Yo-Yo Ma doesn't do it. That line, it's not the right rhythm. But the point is, the very opening is so staccato that you can barely make out actual notes. I mean, if you compare this to Yo-Yo Ma's earlier recording, or Rostropovich, or Heinrich Schiff, or any of the, gazillions of first-class cellists who've recorded this piece, in the interim, you will always hear that there is a tune there. Ya da da da. I mean, it's piano, so there's a slight emphasis. Dum bum bum bum. It's not. You can barely make out the actual notes. I mean, Ma's tone has dried out. It's thinned out. In the upper register, when the piece gets really hysterical and it's supposed to just, pour on the tone. And then the second subject, when it's going, it's just supposed to be like torture practically, with the cello at its highest register, and it has to really scream and wail. And here, whether it's part of the balances, the engineering might just be bad, he gets drowned out by the woodwinds. Almost whenever there's a woodwind solo and he's in his upper register, the woodwind covers him, which is wrong. No, it's not supposed to happen. And the slow movement, which is beautifully serene and sad, and it's just, it just sounds whiny. the beauty of tone has largely evaporated, at least as recorded here. So I was most disappointed by this. It really was unfortunate. He has the notes, God knows. I mean, he can still play. He's got the technique is there, but the tone is gone. And I'm not sure what happened. Now, in the second cello concerto, which is new to his discography, actually, I was really looking forward to hearing that. You have exactly the same problems. I mean, the first movement is this big, long adagio thing, and you've got to be able to sustain long singing lines with wonderful pressurized, vibrato laden, sound, and it ain't there. And the central movement, the scherzo, which is based on that Ukrainian folk song, selling bialys, bubliki, kupitya, bubliki, da 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 da. It's just too slow. It's so labored. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it at all. I mean, he could certainly play it quicker. It really just drags, and there's an emotional argument for that. The piece is sardonic and it's bitter, and you may want to have it, sort of stretched out somehow, or sounding, more pained, but it just needs to go a little bit more quickly for contrast. I mean, the last movement, which is this really unusual and interesting set of variations, is okay. He certainly can do it. But the big fanfare, when he comes back and plays the horn fanfare, in the last variation, again, he seems not to have much dynamic range. And I don't know whether that's a factor of what he was actually doing, or if it's just the engineering that places him a little bit too far away or too backwards in the mix. But the bottom line is that these are not really competitive recordings of the Shostakovich Cello Concertos. Now, the orchestra, by the way, is splendid. I mean, the Boston Symphony sounds terrific. I mean, they sound much better than Yo-Yo Ma. I mean, that's part of the problem, is that everywhere you want him to stop so you can listen to the orchestra, and that is not what you want to have happen in a cello concerto. It really isn't. So I was a little bit shocked. It's very interesting. He's Yo-Yo Ma, like I said, he's getting up there in age. He's 69, pushing 70, I think, right now, somewhere in there. Jascha Heifetz quit playing when he was 71. Pablo Casals played till he was in his 90s, but that was a different thing. Everybody knew he sounded horrible, and his intonation went, and everything was like, and his tone dried up. That's what seems to be happening here. String players have a like all other athletes or singers, they have a useful life. And as they get older, they start to have issues. I mean, Yodi Menuhin had issues. All kinds of people have problems with both their bow arms and their like not bow arm, this thing here, because the positions that you have to be in to play these instruments are terribly awkward. And over years and years and years and years of grinding away at this, I mean, you begin to wear out. And I don't know whether Yo-Yo Ma is beginning to wear out, but this is a terribly geriatric sounding performance. His actual tone may not be that dry or etoliated, but whatever happened, it ain't pretty. So there you have it, my friends. I wish I could be more enthusiastic because I was really looking forward to this. But, you can get a big name, but that doesn't mean you're going to get a big performance. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.